never inside. Where you going, boy? Never inside. Where you at? Never inside. Inside.
The never inside theory. Are we going outsiding? That's the theory. Let's outside. Outside ain't easy. The P-Bros are back. All right, welcome to the Never Inside Theory, the podcast. I'm with my co-host, Pound Sign.
What's up?
And we've got a special guest for you guys today. We have Jason Szabo, the Jason Szabo from Naked and Afraid, amongst other things that are super cool that he's done in his life. Jason, what's up, buddy?
Good to be here. Just not a whole lot. Just stuck in the Minnesota tundra, trying to make the best of things. Wish I was in sunny California and enjoying the warmth, but a few more months and it'll be nice here in Minnesota. But yeah.
I can imagine that I wouldn't consider it warm here right now.
Dude, it's nice. I took my sweatshirt off a couple times while we were outside in the sun, in the shade. I had to put it on.
Yeah, but I was about to say, compared to where you're at over there in Minnesota, I'm guessing it's beach weather.
What's the temp out
Yeah,
there?
it's gonna be about a week of sub-zero temps, I think.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you? You look like you're inside like a shack or something.
Right now, I am hanging out in the old Toyota Dolphin motorhome here,
Nice.
central Minnesota. So yeah, I got the space heater going, just kind of hanging out. It's my home away from home while I'm just kind of getting away from things.
So you've been so to give everyone a little backstory here, like I mentioned before, Jason was on Naked and Afraid. He was in the which season were you?
4, I believe we were the same season.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, you're in season 4. I was in season 4. And so, you know, there's different events that happen once you become a super famous reality star like he and I are.
Right.
So we went to one called the Reality Rally that's here in Temecula. They do it every year, and it's a cool event that raises money for
Michelle Breast Cancer Resource Center.
Right. Michelle's Place, Breast Cancer Resource Center. And so it's a cool thing. All the different reality stars come together and do this kind of amazing race style event. And so that's where I met Jason, and we've done it 2 or 3 times at the same.
Yeah, 3 times able to make it.
Yeah. So we became friends. He stayed at my house a little bit. He hadn't ridden a motorcycle, so I let him ride my chopper, and now he rides motorcycles and I don't.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah. So Jason's a super cool guy. So you know, obviously I've followed you over the years, you know, just on Facebook and stuff like that. And I've noticed you've had this Toyota Dolphin. That thing is epic, man. You've been traveling all over the country in that thing, right?
Yeah, so I left Hawaii. I spent a few years living in Hawaii and ended up getting the opportunity to work on a bunch of like pretty big features and, you know, just kind of featured background stuff. But the last thing I was stand-in and double for Alexander Skarsgård on Godzilla vs. Kong. And that was a pretty
cool
3 months worth of work. And then I was a tourist on Disney's Jungle Cruise with The Rock. And then I was an animal handler on Triple Frontier and a background extra on that. And yeah, I don't know. I've been fortunate and kind of thrown into stuff. I guess it kind of worked out for me because I guess when you're filming movies in Hawaii, you don't really have 6'5" bearded white guys that fit. You can't just, you know, throw just everything that's out there. So I got fortunate of being me in a random place and got to do something I've always wanted to do. I've always been a huge film buff my entire life. So it was kind of a crazy thing, but yeah, I ended up leaving Hawaii and I was going to come back mainland, and I got asked to do First Man Out with Ed Stafford. He challenged me to a spot in Moguicheng, China. And then I accepted, and then COVID hit and no international travel. And it left me just kind of stuck.
What a kick in the nuts.
In Minnesota right before winter. And then, you know, so I wasn't able to make it back to Hawaii. I had to make the best of things when I was here in Minnesota. Ended up coming across this 1989 Toyota Dolphin. And then started getting heavily into reading on lost Spanish mines and gold bars and lost treasures throughout the Southwest. So I just been loading up, and then I got a brand ambassadorship with Garrett Metal Detectors. They sent me gear to go out and kind of do what I do. And yeah, so I basically just load up my Dolphin with enough supplies to last however long I wanted to hit up a region, and then drive this thing as far as I can out, and then start the hunt. So I found some cool mines and some cool petroglyphs and ancient rock art on top of ancient waterfalls on mountaintops. And I don't know, I've just been kind of exploring and doing something other than, I guess, dealing with the pandemic that we all got to have fun with.
That's crazy, dude. Are you on a list or something that people can reach out and say, hey, and give you a call, see, I want to, have you come do this project with us? Like have another.
I mean, that's stuff that I would love to do. I would love to guide. I used to do wilderness guides. I used to teach primitive survival, but it ends up just kind of being, I'm not a wealthy man. I didn't really hit the the grand prize doing Naked and Afraid to do much, but I'm a union actor, and now that I'm back mainland, I don't have representation, and I haven't hopped on any films. I just have like a few friends, and like my prop master friend did the John Wick movies and stuff like that. So once in a while, I get little ins and little nudges like, hey, there's a Western film in New Mexico right now called American Primeval. If you here's the casting list, send your info over. So I just kind of do little random guerrilla style drop offs to casting directors. And if they happen to see my stuff and I get a call back, cool. But if not, I guess I plant the seed, I guess, and hope that something grows from it. But
that's cool, man. So I got to back up for a second and ask you, did you get to meet The Rock?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah,
he's large.
He's kind of the equivalent to like a fucking human thumb. I mean, there just wasn't much going on. He was nice enough, but I mean, I didn't get much of a personality from the guy, to tell you the truth.
So he's not like super charismatic like he is in all his movies. So if he's not acting, it's just.
Well, I mean, there are some dudes that are charismatic, and like Chris Pratt is just like, kind of, he's a little bit Andy Dwyer, like Office, or, the Parks and Rec or whatever.
Yeah.
That's right. You worked with, you got to meet Chris Pratt when you're doing the.
I love that guy.
Yeah, that's where I actually got
Jurassic Park thing, right?
Yeah, well, I got into I went to an open casting. I was bartending, and then had a guy basically sitting at the bar, like an actual, like, he's like Native American Indian. He was talking about doing background work on, I think it was Grey Owl with Pierce Brosnan, and he did background work, and we're just chatting at the bar, and he's like, you know what? You kind of look like the Duke, his friend, the Ghost, his right-hand man, and they're actually shooting a movie on the Duke, and you should go to this open casting. And I was like, hey, I would check it out. And he gave me the address of the place and the time to show up. And I show up there, and there was nothing filming for the Duke. And it was open casting for Aquaman, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and like Triple Frontier. So there's 3 movies being casted there, and a casting director, and literally a line of 700 people all going out around street corners and stuff. Then I just waited in line, went through, and then the casting director saw me and then asked me to come into the office, offered me a spot from the director hand picking a headshot. And I got to be one of the main mercenary groups for Buffalo Bill. Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs was the bad guy in that movie, who was actually a really fucking cool human. Like,
no
dude,
shit.
Super awesome, dude.
That's cool, man.
That's super
cool. So
cool.
you were in that was when you were in Hawaii, right? So what city were you in? You were in like Maui or something like that?
I was
on Maui?
Oahu there.
Oh, okay.
The only time I left to film a movie, I had 3 months of work in Kauai where they filmed Jungle Cruise, and that was a fucking nightmare. But it was, cool to be a part of the movie and whatnot. But it was just kind of, I had to pay rent in Honolulu and pay for my own place where I was there. It was kind of like I wanted to do it, and I'm a union actor, so I am getting union wages, but I still have to, I didn't break even doing that one. Let's say that, but it was a good time.
Well, look at the bright side, man. You got, you're racking up those items on your IMDb.
They're uncredited, so they're it's not. You actually have to have speed in order to get credit for the stuff. So in the actual film, I'm not in any of the credits. And
Oh,
IMDb, if you add, you did, and even though it's not in the credits, they even put uncredited on there for you. So
oh, that's nice
yeah,
of
yeah, it's you know, it's just like how
Well, you
they're.
should have one for Naked and Afraid, right? I got an IMDb for Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, and I think they added me onto another one that I think editing for Naked and Afraid screwed up on because they put like the end credits of my episode on the episode after mine and produced that and sent that out
Right.
to the. I think it still might be like that. I still have,
I
like,
wonder if
yeah, I have
yeah, I
credit
wonder
for.
if they even know that. They probably don't even know that.
Even know that.
That's hilarious. Um,
So how did you
that's
do on Naked and Afraid? Did you make it all the way through?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had fun doing it. I think I lost the least weight of anyone to do it. I
You're
lost
just
7.
like at home.
What's that?
You're just like at home. This is like you're either here or somewhere else doing exactly the same thing.
Kind of like I have a challenge and like something fun to do. Otherwise, I just feel worthless. Like I've been feeling pretty worthless the last year just because I'm not adventuring and my mom's sick, so I'm kind of sticking around helping parents and stuff like that, and kind of didn't do what I would normally do to stick around and help out. And it's kind of I regret it a little bit, but I love my mom and I have no problem helping out and sacrificing some of my.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the shit that I got going on is I don't know. I got a couple locations and just shot a sizzle reel for Lost Treasure series. And I was actually in Cali shooting that last year around February and then had my team fly in and we got a reel together. So we're just hoping networks pick that up and then I get to actually do some treasure hunts. And one of my main things, and some of these areas are so vast, I need to use modern day technology like magnetometer and like a plane rental, and then look for those metallic pings as you fly over, and then have actual grid search spots to go to. Otherwise, it's a needle in a haystack. But
yeah,
Yeah.
you sent me some different some pretty interesting articles over the years of different places you wanted to go treasure hunting.
yeah,
Uh, one of the ones was what was it out there in the Arizona desert somewhere? It was like a big cave. Well, there's a couple of them you sent me that had like a big cave that looks like there's pictures of it. Um, there was the one in Death Valley that you were telling me about a few years ago,
yep, a
and
death
then
spot that involves giants. That is actually one of the main things that I first got started on. But yeah, supposedly there's a cavern system underneath the Panamint Mountain in Death Valley that had an ancient civilization and mummified giants and golden statue of a giant with a spear and
so
crazy shit. Yeah,
you actually didn't you actually go to try to do a little searching for that?
I did. I actually drove the Dolphin where I shouldn't have in like 4x4 only areas, and I have like literally my ride got thrashed from like the roads. I don't even know how I got to where I got, but I ended up getting to the front of like a giant mine shaft and like an abandoned resort that I guess was popular in like the 30s for a minute, and then people I guess stopped going, and it just kind of went abandoned. So there's like an old like hotel style setup, an in-ground pool, and then like piping that just goes to a hot spring that's about a quarter mile behind the place. So they just had a natural hot spring, fill a pool out there, and had resorters come in. But yeah, it's a cool little area. Unfortunately, I need actual 4x4 and like a dirt bike to get to the areas of interest in most spots. So I've been working on that throughout the years. I just got a 1981 Honda Hobbit moped that I put a big board on
Oh yeah.
and exhaust and the whole 9 yards. So that I can actually put on the Dolphin and haul with me, and then have some extra transportation to get to some further out areas I couldn't get to. So yeah, I'm just slowly but surely getting all my fucking ducks in a row to go and find some gold bars. But yeah, meanwhile, it's just a waiting game.
Yeah, that's good shit. So you had mentioned before, like, so you got sponsored by this metal detector company
Oh,
to start going and looking at this stuff, right?
what's that?
You see, you got sponsored by the metal detector company, you said.
Yeah, Garrett Metal,
Um,
me some gear.
that's pretty sweet. What have you said you found some stuff with that, or I mean, like, have you? What
I
kind of
have
searching have you
found
done with those?
I haven't found anything really of monetary value. I found some old mines and done lots of exploring inside old mines and checked out some areas, and do have lots of points of interest. But yeah, I have one spot where there's supposedly, I mean, it's kind of a cool story. I don't really want to get into it too much unless you guys want to hear it.
We like stories, dude.
So this is one of the old treasure stories. This is kind of actually based on one of the parts of the sizzle reel, so I can't give out exact stuff, but I'll give you the synopsis, I guess. In 1942, General Patton sent out 5 soldiers, and basically just like a desert kind of survival, go from point A to point B type of scenario. And this would have been when they were doing the desert warfare training for the South Africa warfare and shit against the Nazis and stuff back in the day. So they have 5 soldiers go from point A to point B, and then somewhere along the line, these guys are hiking, minimal gear, not much on them, and they come across a spot where there's 220 gold bars in 2 stacks, and it would have been clearly off the side of like an old wagon trail of some sort. And they counted.
That doesn't suck to stumble across, huh?
Well, they're on foot, minimal gear, probably just have like a canteen, a blade, and a compass, just nothing to really do it. But they made a gentleman's pack, like, hey, they counted them twice. There's 220 gold bars. Like, so the most I could figure is these dudes would have buried, probably 45. There's 5 of them, 45 bars each. They probably dug 5 foxholes with 45 bars, which is what I would do, because you don't want Patton to send out the next group of guys and stumble across them. So I think they would have probably just put some markers up and shallow buried their own little stashes. They made a gentleman's pact to go fight for God and country. We'll come back, live life as gentlemen. Well, 3 of the guys died in battle. 1 guy got institutionalized, and then 1 guy bought property at the midway point and spent the rest of his life looking, but never found it because cloudbursts, desert change, everything. He never find his markers, and this dude spent the rest of his life looking to no avail. So 80-pound gold bars, 220 of them. Today's monetary value puts that around 220 million. So nearly $250 million worth of gold in 2 stacks. Just
80 pounds each?
Yeah, 80-pound bars.
It's a big ass bar of gold.
That is huge. Like, can't even curl that,
It's a lot of weight. So they can't hike a bar back with them. They can't do anything, so they made that pack, left it there, they'll come back for it. But yeah, nothing came to fruition from it. I got archives of an old expedition leader, or an old timer archaeologist who's no longer alive, that worked at a museum, and he had a whole bunch of info on that. And then I just went out to the area and started looking, and then came across these hunters that had their deer raffle license win, and they hunt that area. Came up to make friends with me, asked what I was doing out there, made friends with them, kind of talked to the story. They told me they actually came across a guy that knew that lost soldier and was giving more details towards my area. So these dudes, after I told them the story, made sure that they were paying attention to what this guy was saying. So he was able to come back and relay me some more info that would have came directly from the lost soldier through this dude that actually knew him. So, I mean, I guess everything kind of worked out for a reason, I guess. I was out there and I was kind of defeated after like 10 days going 5-10 miles in the desert. But yeah, so I got my ducks in a row, got a production company involved, got a sizzle reel shot. Basically, I mean, even if the show doesn't pick up, I'm looking at, I probably need $10,000. $10,000 to rent the plane and the magnetometer, gather the data, get my areas of interest, and then go out on foot to the spots and hit it with the metal detector. So that's where I'm at now. And it kind of, the production company dropped about 20K into that 10 minutes or the 5-minute, 37-second sizzle reel in the end. And it's like,
don't you wish they put that toward just going and getting it?
Yeah, I'm like, we should actually.
Right. Seems a little ass backwards, but
you could have just cut together a whole episode and the 5-minute sizzle reel, and we would have had it done. But Hollywood.
Yeah. It's always questionable the choices that they make in Hollywood. You always wonder. I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons for it, but you always wonder what those said reasons are. You're like, what the hell are you thinking?
There's always a valid excuse, whether you think it's valid or not. It's valid enough for them to give it to you.
It's valid to somebody that's making the money and calling the shots. That's crazy. Like an actual gold treasure hunter, like the real deal. You're not just some whack job running around in this little, crazy dolphin
I,
thing. You're actually the full on genuine deal.
I like to think what I do is genuine, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do my research. I've got so many books, so much knowledge, so many people I need to meet and kind of gather a few more details here and there to go check out other spots. But meanwhile, I think I just have like 5 spots that I'm actually 50-50, like pretty damn certain that something will come to fruition, that I think, it'll actually work out. So I don't know. I just kind of gauge what spots I can do with what gear I have now and hope for the best. But yeah, clearly the one that I want to do, I definitely just need to have a plane rental and a magnetometer. And I think I'll at least get peace of mind, that something's there or something's not. But 220 bars had to get there somehow. So I just figure it was on a wagon of some sort and an axle broke or a wheel broke. And, that iron object with that axle is going to be something that magnetometer is going to pick up. So, I'm just kind of counting on what we have for technology today that might work, as opposed to, this dude spent the rest of his life looking and nothing ever happened to it. So it's kind of crazy that I could gather in 2 days with a rental and some data what this guy probably spent 20 years and only covered a fraction of. I can get done in 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
Is there anybody else out there looking for this too? Or, I mean, it seems like it's
treasure. There's lots of good ones. There's actually a really awesome show. I like it a lot. That's on Discovery right now called Gold Lies and Videotape. And they talk about Victoria Peak. And I actually researched the shit out of that and know the whole background. So it's kind of cool watching this show that's on, and actually has archival footage from a documentarian that was with when they were trying to get back into the Victoria Peak treasure hoard spot. They had a dude with a camera recording it. So this new show, they actually cut together all the parts, and you're kind of seeing how they're going through and how the military put up a base right next to the area to try to block out the public and then take the treasure so that they have no access to it. And it's actually a pretty awesome documentary series that's on right now. But I know some stuff that I'm curious to see.
That's pretty cool, dude. That's some exciting stuff. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get you set up with a GoFundMe. All right. We'll start a campaign. I got $5.
I say we just fund the whole thing and we just split the gold.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what. That's a great idea. Jake, go to the bank, grab that 10 grand, and then I'll pay you back my 5 later on.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
When we get the gold, you'll pay me back your 5.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
Good thinking.
Perfect.
But I do have a couple investors that I haven't approached with the idea that I might, but I would definitely be down to make things happen, especially now that I got free time and shit. I think even this is perfect weather. This winter time for that location is going to be bearable and not overwhelming and a doable thing. But yeah, there's definitely lots of stuff out there. The Bell Star Iron Door Mine is another one that's always intrigued me. She was like a Jesse James female chick, a Wild West badass chick, but she'd rob trains. And then this one story, her and her posse ripped off a sidecar door, loaded up all the gold payroll and stuff on top of the door, and then hitched it to their horses, and then drug it into a ravine area, and then put it inside a cave system, actually used the train car door, lifted it up, and then put a giant lock across it. And there have been different points in time, like I think maybe 3 different pairs of 2 people have came across this mine in this little valley area. And this was before there was GPS and stuff. So they're like, holy shit, this is a big door. This is a big lock. And then go, find their way out, and they can never find their way back to where the door is. And then I think the last time there was a report of like, it was 1997, like a father and son were out hunting and then came across it. And then the father went back to go get some tools to try to get the lock open, and they can never find it again. So that area, I think, with a giant door and a magnetometer and a plane flying by.
Yeah, I'm thinking the takeaway from this is bring everything you need to get through that door so that you don't have to leave and come back because you won't find it again.
now we have GPS. Now you could go right into in front of the door, put your marker on right there, and you have your exact way
That's a good
back
point.
to it. Yeah.
You drop your little pin, do
Mhm.
your
right.
pin drop, and then
Yeah.
dab.
The pin, name it my future.
My future retirement, we like to call this door.
I used to watch the what was that island that they were digging on?
Oak
Uh,
Island.
Oak Island, dude. I
Oh,
got
yeah,
I
I
got
like that
sucked
one.
into that. Yeah, that was a show that I used to watch.
It's still on, dude.
They what?
They still want.
It's
That's
They
right,
still
they
haven't found shit.
anything.
but- they
curse
found
of
a coin
Oak
and a little mini cross.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's my
you know.
Bobby Dazzler. Oh, we found another piece of wood. Here's the Bobby Dazzler. Like the Curse of Oak Island's having to watch 11 seasons with nothing being found. That's what the Curse of Oak Island is.
That's the most hilarious thing about it, and you keep watching it because every
As you-
trailer for the new episode,
You're
They're
like,
they're
it,
gonna find
it makes it
find
sound like they found something this time.
Yeah.
you're like, I watched fucking 10 seasons of this bald fuck picking up Bobby Dazzlers, and now I need to see some fucking gold. And of course, they cliffhanger you on every, like this last one. Now they have water samples towards this different shaft area, and they went outwards with it and then found that the concentration of gold gets higher. So they theoretically created a blob area where they think that the gold is. So now they have a whole new digging area where the water is actually showing them where the high traces of gold come from. So
Because
even get
all
you
of
going,
their
well, it's
they,
like, why
all the money they're spending on equipment, the big tractors and then these giant metal detectors and all this different technology, couldn't find it, but they're just going
And
to
the
follow the
drills.
water.
yeah, that's what they were joking about. That's how it's going to be. We have all this shit, and then it's just the fucking silver and gold content and little water samples. But yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. I still fucking watch it. I like the guys. I watched the Beyond Oak Island show where they actually have a side host guy fly
Yeah,
out
I've watched that.
to locations. So it's more like my series would be me hitting up different locations all the time. So it's I'd rather see multiple shit than just beating that fucking dead horse with a stick over
Dude,
and
they
over.
are, dude. They were. That's crazy. So they're still going, and they still haven't found anything.
Yeah, they're finding shit that dates back to like fucking 12th century though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so shit that's pre fucking money pit. So I mean, they're finding cool history and shit, but I think if you fucking dig deep enough anywhere, you're probably gonna find something ancient.
Right? Even if it's just ancient liquid hot magma.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, dude. So right now you're just hanging out there waiting for something specific, or what are you doing over there now?
Researching, wasting time. I've actually just like needed a hobby while I'm hanging out, and I need income. I got random little bills to pay here and there. So I've been buying old school 80s reissued skate decks. And
Yeah, I got your invite to that page. I didn't sign up or I didn't accept it right away. I tried to, and then I had to answer all these questions.
yeah,
So and
He lost interest.
I feel like you expected that I would know the answers to them because, but I didn't. It was like, so which skateboarder did this or whatever, and I was like,
Bones Brigade.
So-
You could just put Tony Hawk for everything probably and get in.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I just said, oh, I'll come back and do this later, and I'll Google all the answers, and then I went back to do it, and it just let me in without answering them that time. So yeah, I'm a member now.
Yeah, it's
But,
just a cool raffle group where collectors throw up a bunch of old school decks and shit like that. And I don't know, like I love skating. I love the artwork on the decks. That's one of the main things I always dug. So it's cool kind of collecting stuff that, like, I remember when I was in Cali growing up, one of our babysitter's brothers always had like this Natus Panther leaned up against the wall at his house, and he had a fucking empty pool in the backyard that they'd be skating in all the time. So when I see like all these old school prints of skate decks popping up, like they're pretty cool little wall hangers to have, and they're like little functional art that's a decent investment. So it's kind of a cool little hobby. And then build some decks, put them up on raffle or whatever, and just kind of waste time, have something fun.
Yeah, nothing
Different
wrong with
grip
that.
tape style.
That's cool, dude. It'll give you something that you can have fun with.
Yeah, but I have one of my good buddies just opened up a skate shop in town, and then he built the first indoor skate park bowl in like central Minnesota. I think there's like a spot in like Minneapolis and stuff that has an indoor park, but he put one in a little shop up here, and I'm helping him with some deck stuff here and getting things going with the shop. So I don't know. I try to keep occupied as much as I can, but
That's cool, man. I
when
wanted to ask you about your, with all your travels, one of the coolest ones that I was super jealous about was your trip to Australia.
the
And
house,
didn't you just go there there was something you went there for, but then you just ended up staying there for like a year?
no,
Or was that
I went
Hawaii I'm thinking of?
visa, but I did do like something crazy. So I get to Hawaii, and this is like after I left my mountain spot in Colorado, and then sold everything, and I just had my backpacks, like one big pack, one small pack, and I'm like, fuck it, dude, I want to go to check out Hawaii. So go to Hawaii, and I actually didn't like it that much. I like wasn't having fun. I was at this wrong spot of the island where it was just dead after 9 p.m. and I just really didn't dig it. So I'm like, fuck. I ended up going to Kauai and then did the Kalalau Trail. And I spent a month doing the Kalalau Trail, just hanging out there, roaming around. And when I got
That's
done,
cool. I want to check that out. I saw that when I was there from the boat.
the most beautiful hike and probably the best hike that I've ever had or done. Like it was just fucking phenomenal. It's beautiful and fucking just rad. You know, you got fruit growing, you can, it's just fucking cool. But so I get done with the Kalalau Trail, and then I see like Australian flight, one-way ticket was like, $500 or something. So then I check online, and I got like a 3-month tourist visa that I just did online, and then got the one-way ticket, and then had made friends with this dude on couchsurfing.com, which was like an app back in the day for worldwide travelers, where you within a year let someone stay at your place or whatever for like a week, and then it's kind of like you help out someone, you get helped out by someone, something. It was like a cool app. But ended up doing this spot in Melbourne and met with this dude, awesome guy, still friends with him to this day, Reese. And then he took me to like Grampian State Park and all these crazy fucking spots around Melbourne, and showed me all these cool areas. And then went up the Gold Coast and checked out the fucking Bells Beach, the Point Break fucking beach, and all this other shit. But I was like, dude, so if there's one thing that you could do in Australia, what would it be? He's like, oh man. He's like, if you want to go someplace that if I was in a room with 100,000 people and I put out this one spot, maybe one person would have been there. Cape York, Australia, the northernmost tip of Australia. It's all just 4x4 trails and just fucking crazy. So I was like, no shit. All right, I'll look into it. And then I looked into it, and then I just decided to fucking go for it. Ended up, one of the good things that happened with, the naked and afraid shit, or the random online social media links and shit that you get with people. But there's this one guy that lived in Darwin, and he's like, oh, if you go to Cape York, mate, there's this guy named Lockie, and he's lived out there like his whole life, and he's just an awesome dude. And he's like, I've never met him. I've tried to talk to him on Facebook, but he never replied to me. Maybe if you send him a message, he'd reply to you. So I just hit up this random dude, and then ended up getting his email, talking back and forth. He's like, all right, mate, well, if you want to come out here, if you want to look after my chooks while I'm gone, chooks are chickens. He's like, you look after my chickens to my place. You'll stop at this place called Croc Tent. You'll meet with my mate, and he'll give you the GPS and the number you need to call if you get bit by a snake. And then you'll have your satellite so you can reach out and hope that they find you. But he's like, yeah, I've been fucked up. He's like, I got bit by a death adder while walking to my outhouse, and it tagged my ankle. He's like, ended up surviving that. And then he's like, I saw a baby taipan, and I ended up grabbing that. And that put me in a coma for a month, and still survived that, and I'm good. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this guy going to be like Crocodile Dundee or what? Because there's, I don't even know what the dude looks like. I'm just talking with them online. But he tells me these little spots that I need to go to get up there. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is going to be wild. So then I booked a flight from Melbourne, Australia to Cairns, Australia. And then I have to wait for a week. So I stay at this backpackers hostel for a week, and then wait on my next flight from Cairns to Thursday Island. And I was like, what the fuck? And like, I found out that in order to get that far up north, I have to take a flight from Cairns to this island and then take a ferry from that island to another island and then wait on the ferry that goes to Saija, which is on the left inside part of the tip from that island. So I'm like, Jesus fuck, what am I doing? And then, all right, so I fly from Cairns, end up on this Thursday Island spot, and then hop on the ferry and then go to Horn Island. And then while on Horn Island, they said the ferry doesn't take off until 6:30 a.m. the next day. So I had to guerrilla camp, and I saw like this fucking bowling alley parking lot with construction fences up and a couple palm trees next to the water. And I just had my hammock and shit. So I just go jump the fence and then fucking set up my camp for the night. And I'm just planning on leaving before the construction crew shows up in the morning. So then I just crashed out in the hammock, and then of course I fucking wake to hearing a door slam like noise. So then I just quick fucking pack up my hammock, get my bags, get my shit, hop the fence, get back, go over to the fucking harbor, hop on the ferry. And I took a ferry to Saija. Once I get to the harbor in Saija, I'm like, sweet. So now I'm in Saija. Now I have to figure out how to get to this spot, Bamaga, and come across this old Aboriginal woman, and she's wondering what I'm doing there. So I make conversation with her, and she said she'll give me a ride to the gas station in Bamaga. And I'm like, sweet, that's where I get my supplies. I'm like making it. I'm like, I'm actually doing this fucking ridiculous trip. And this old Aboriginal woman gives me a ride to the gas station, and she's like, all right, well, good luck. You still got about a ways to get to where you want to go. And I'm like, sweet. So it's like I have to figure out another way, because if I'm hiking, my pack weighed 77 pounds and I had another
crap
stomach. And I was like, God damn it. It's like fucking 95 degrees outside. I'm like, this is going to be hell. It's going to take me like a fucking week to get out there, and I got to get my supplies now. So then I just hung out at the gas station waiting for someone, and then offering them a little bit of loot for a ride out there, and ended up coming across this guy, old bearded white guy. It's like, oh, yeah, I know Lockie. Yeah. He's like, where you got to go? I'm like, I got to go to Croc Tent and get a map. And then I have to go.
That sounds like a crazy ass adventure, dude.
And
You'd be shitting yourself at times. Huh?
And then he took me to Croc Tent. I met Lockie's buddies. They gave me the GPS emergency shit and the map to his place. And that place is about 11 miles from Croc Tent. And yeah, so basically I ended up making it out to Lockie's place, had this old bush dude showing me some crazy shit with the fucking ants. He's like, oh, check out these ants. And they're like the green ants. And he's like, you ever get a clogged, stuffed up nose? And then he just like grabs a leaf with these ants and then just goes, and it's like, woo, it's like Vicks fucking vapor rub, like instantly like opens your sinuses. And he's like, yep. And if you want to sweeten your water up, you can just crush them up and then put them inside your water, and it'll make it lemon-like, it'll make it citrusy. And I was like, holy shit. So he's giving me these cool forks and tips. And yeah, ended up spending 7 weeks out at Lockie's place in Cape York, Australia, roaming around, diving for painted crays and saltwater croc infested waters. And then I brought a survival bow, and I was hunting wild turkey and boar with that. I got ended up having this made. I had my buddy wire wrap it, but this is a boar tusk from one of the Australian boars.
Oh, look at that thing, dude. That's huge.
And
You're
then
gonna send me a picture of that so I can post it on our social media.
word, but yeah, it's got a fucking fire opal, emerald,
Wow,
ruby.
dude, that's actually really cool. Yeah. I mean, the tusk alone is cool, but they did
I
it
got a
up.
buddy that does wire wrapping, and he's fucking amazing with it. He actually did. So this,
My mom does wire wrapping.
that is actual pirate treasure from the Atocha. The Atocha wreck from, I think it was 1644 it sunk, and Mel Fisher ended up finding the hoard of it in Florida.
That's got the Knights Templar cross on it, bro.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
for you they're listening and you can't see it, it's like a is that a coin?
Yeah, it's a real.
And it's wrapped in like a little tin holder or something around his neck. That's super cool, dude. That's the real deal right there, huh?
Older, and then my buddy put a Mexican fire opal in on it, and I just wear this around. It's my little 450-year-old treasure hanging around.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So, dude,
That's pretty badass, man. Go
what's
ahead, Jake.
the scariest situation you found yourself in where you're like, because last our podcast last episode, we were talking about Luke and I went camping, and I was, we had been eating some things and smoking some things, and I went at dark, went to go hang my food up in a tree, and I got lost, and I was terrified, dude. Like, I've never been so scared in my life. And it's a long story. You have to listen to the episode, but what's like the scariest place you found yourself and you're like, ah, shit, and then like you're just wondering what is possibly going to help you get out of the situation?
I mean,
He's like, there's so many.
He's like, I'm in one right now.
He's like, how do I get off the podcast?
I'd say, like, I can't really gauge it. I'm stupid in a way that if I think, like, I'm a pretty good problem solver. So I think I put myself in situations and kept a level head enough that it maybe other people might have been freaked the fuck out. But to me, I guess I was able to kind of comprehend it better. I guess I think differently about things. I think the best way I can answer this question would be probably one of the stupidest thing I've done that freaked me the fuck out was in the Cape York spot when I was diving for painted crays. And like when I go out to the area and you just see like fucking thick ass saltwater croc tail slides going into the body of water that you're going to spear their like favorite food, like that, just like seeing the tail slide and then like looking at my buddy Lockie being like, dude, am I gonna be all right? Like, he's like, you'll be all right, mate. He's like, I do this all the time. I don't hang out there, but yeah, I'll go in and get my I'll get my cray and get out. And I was like, all right. So I just kind of want to go in, get a cray, get out, and I should be all right. He's like, you'll be fine. So just with that, I'm going into the water with my fucking heart like a mile a minute and like croc tail slide that's like that, and there's multiple of them all on there, so they could just be laying on the bottom fucking hanging out. And so then you get all the thoughts going in your fucking head and like all this shit, and like literally the only creature on earth that would put the fear of God into me would be a saltwater croc. They're just fucking living dinosaurs. So yeah, doing that and going in and spearing a couple painted crays and then fucking hopping out of the water, like, was probably the longest adrenaline rush that like I had for doing something as simple as a quick spearfish dive. So I think
that's crazy, dude.
That would be the freakiest.
Dude, I get the heebie-jeebies when I got to grab a fish off my fishing line and then pull him off the hook,
Depends on the teeth.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, up here we have northern pikes and walleyes, and they have some sharp teeth, but those are kind of pinched behind the neck or grab the gills type of things. But even the gills are razor sharp. So yeah, that's all I do out here is kind of fish in summer and hang out. And then I'm not much into ice fishing because I just get fucking bored jigging a hole, and half the time you're skunked. And I don't really drink anymore. I just got sick of fucking hangovers, and I wasn't having fun drinking. So
hey, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I just kind of like to smoke my weed, and then once in a while clear the brain with a little mushroom or two and fucking roam in the desert. Like,
I would never do that.
For mushrooms, they're good for you.
Dude, we should go on a camping trip sometime, dude. I'd like to. Luke's the most expert camper that I have known, and he definitely has got me through some good things. But to have the two of you guys together would be something.
Oh, I would love to try to scare the shit out of Luke. That'd be fun.
You know what, dude? I don't doubt that you'd be able to, but it's funny. It's funny that Jake, that Pound Sign here brought that up, and that's because that was on my list of things I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to plan a trip. What's that?
I sent you that clip for that Highline documentary that just showed the 5 dudes that all had different paths and how the hikes actually helped them out, and they went and did the Uintas Trail in Utah.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check that out yet, but yeah, but I'm planning a trip in. It'll probably realistically be like early August at this point. But I'm trying to plan a backpacking trip, nothing crazy, just like like 20 miles or something like that, like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be like in the Sierras here in California. So I was gonna see if you wanted to come along and just I mean, I'm sure that'll be just a skip through the park for you, but
we're evening stroll for you. But
I'm pretty smoker still. Like I just always can mentally kick my own ass and actually most of the time when I'm hiking, I don't even have the urge to smoke or anything. So I don't know. I kind of can shut it off. The only time I really feel phased by extreme activities and being that I'm a smoker was always spearfishing.
Oh, I can see
Just the
that.
ocean kicking your ass, trying to hold your breath and stuff. That's the only time I'm like, I wish I didn't at all. I wish I didn't smoke at all. But yeah, I would definitely be down with that. I got multiple locations for like some lost Spanish mines and gold bars and ingots that would be like a 5-day trek on foot. And one spot's in New Mexico that I wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do something like that. I haven't really done. When I was in Cali last, I went up towards the White Mountains. I had some friends that I actually met in Death Valley that came by in their Jeep, who I made friends with. They invited me out, and I went out there last year and hung out at their ranch in the White Mountains. And it's actually right nearby, like an hour and a half away is Alabama Hills. I camped out there for a while, and it was fucking great. Alabama Hills is like where the Paramount Mountain is, Mount Whitney. Like that's where like the front of the Paramount movie deal is. That's there. And then
Yeah.
there's like 500 westerns that were filmed out there, including like the Magnificent Seven new one, and like, you know, all John Wayne shit and fucking the Lone Ranger. And they have the bristlecone pine tree forest out there. The bristlecone pines are the oldest trees on Earth, supposedly. So
Huh.
yeah, there's just
Oh, you know what? I've heard
cool.
that just recently, as a matter of fact. Someone was talking about that.
Yeah.
They're up on the
Yeah.
like top of the mountains, right?
Yep.
Is it-
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because like the elevation, like they can't grow anything.
Yep. They're only fucking known there, and they're supposed to be the oldest trees ever.
That'd be
That's
that'd be
funny.
something,
I
huh?
was
That'd be something to
just
see.
heard about that.
Well, cool. Yeah, man. We'll get you out the information. That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, definitely
Yeah,
down.
dude.
Check out some Cali hikes.
Yeah, I'll definitely I'll add you into the email chain that well, it's not much of a chain. It's kind of a one-way thing right now, but I'm gonna
Yeah, he puts out
I'm
like
gonna send another one out that's gonna tell everyone exactly times and places. So since
I also
that's already
have. I got some
the
good
only way things
areas
work.
in Cali to check out. Check out like I think it's the Los Padres Wilderness and Lake Piru. Lake Piru is actually just above like Simi Valley, and there's like crazy, I guess, pretty rugged, hardcore wilderness that's all out there, and also a Los Padres mine that supposedly has some gold in it too. So that's one of the lost Spanish mine areas that I've actually been researching, just because I got some buddies that just live right in Simi, and I asked them about it, and they only went out there when they were kids, so they knew nothing about any kind of treasure hunts. But yeah, there's cool stuff out there.
Shit, maybe we'll switch this trip into a treasure hunt.
dude,
instead
I
of
was just
a
thinking
backpacking
that.
trip.
How cool would that be? That would
I
actually
mean-
be like a place to, you know,
I'll
an
get
actual
you up.
We
destin-
can potentially come back rich.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Would that be something?
Plus,
Huh?
like even, I mean, a lot of Spanish treasure markers and shit like that are carved in walls. Like if you get some books and kind of give yourself a heads up to what you're looking for and stuff, kind of train your eye reading the book, and then when you're out there in it, you'll start noticing all these things that you wouldn't have noticed unless you actually put some time in. So I've been fortunate enough to find lots of different stats, different symbols and stuff, and I found a couple gold mines that way, but unfortunately they were empty.
Yeah, dude.
Wah wah.
Well, the one messed up thing that I think I'm kicking myself over is I did find this one old mine in Arizona, and there are old jeans in it. Old fucking jeans, like stacked up in this one spot. And of course, you look at it like it's trash, like what some fucking bum leave these here and whatnot. And it turns out that I guess pre 1900 fucking jeans, if you find them in mines, Levi,
There was something.
they'll pay up to like fucking 80K for a pair of fucking old jeans because all their historical shit was destroyed in a fire in the 30s. So if you find old school fucking Levi's jeans and old mines, they're worth fucking stacks.
So you found some. You just didn't know that you had a treasure in
Left-
your hands.
A year and a half later, make it back to the mine and someone got them. So,
Ah.
yeah. So I'd probably left $30,000 in denim sitting there, I guess.
That's wild, dude.
Well, I mean, who'd have thunk, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
thought
So
it
are
was-
you over there by yourself right now, or like is there people around, or you're just out in the, like you're in a town somewhere?
Right now, I'm in central Minnesota,
Okay.
but a town and shit. But when I'm off grid and I'm, doing shit, there aren't people around me for hundreds of miles usually. So
Yeah, I like people too. So I'd be around for. I'd go crazy if I was by myself for like extended periods of time, I think.
yeah, I mean, I actually do kind of go crazy when I'm by myself doing shit like this. It would be cool, but like once in a while, I have like a buddy that'll fly out and like fly to the nearest airport. Like when I did the Death Valley trip, one of my buddies from Minnesota flew to Vegas, and I picked him up in Vegas, and it was like an hour drive into Death Valley from the Vegas airport. So yeah, kind of just planned a little cheap fucking flight and trip, and then it kind of just worked out. So little breaks like that are cool, where I get like a homie to come with and fucking help me detect and dig and shit. But
That's good shit, man. Well, hey, dude, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us your stories. It sounds like you got enough for like 2 or 3 more episodes here. So we'll plan on having you back on at some point for sure.
well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's good hearing from you guys. Jake, pleasure talking.
Yeah, you too, man. It was good to meet you. And if you find like some gold bars, dude, if you need somebody to help, truck those out, I could probably take some time off.
He works for minimum wage.
Yeah, yeah.
One bar, only one 80-pound bar is all that I require as payment.
That's $970K.
Perfect. That's just what I was thinking.
That'll suffice.
Yep.
That's good stuff, man.
Maybe the podcast picks up and you get some people interested.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the idea, right?
Throw that 10K together, and maybe we can partner in some investors on a chance to see what happens with a little trek out looking for these bars.
Absolutely. We're looking for all kinds of stuff like that to grow this old podcast here. So, but dude, I'm serious, man. Maybe we can figure out a treasure hunting trip instead of a backpacking trip in August.
That'd be something, dude.
I mean,
this is, I guess, the perspective that I've always had. Like, this is what I did the first year that I was out on the road. I'm like, anyone can fucking just go to a fucking state park and then take a picture where all these fucking tourists goes, or anyone can just go and fucking do a yoga pose in some fucking valley and fucking act like they're one nature.
I thought I was being original.
Well, it's like I need a fucking challenge, man. Like, I don't want to just go and fucking see some fucking spot that Dick and Jane fucking,
like one of those
they were able to get to with their walkers. Like, the cool shit that you want to find is shit that no one can fucking get to or see. So yeah, I try to equip myself to be able to go wherever the fuck I want. And
absolutely.
So far I have not been. It has worked out, but
that's cool.
Yeah,
there's nothing like finding the most epic spot to go to online, and you find all these articles about it or whatever, there's all these pictures and stuff like that, and then you get there and you take the same picture and you're all stoked on it because you took the picture, but it's the exact same picture.
Well,
or you try to go there to take that fucking picture, even though it's just you taking the picture, but then you can't because you got 37 little fucking heads inside your fucking frame, and you have to show up at fucking 3:30 in the morning to try to get that shot without 100 people screwing your shit up.
Yeah, and then you end up just screenshotting the picture on the internet and calling it your own.
Exactly.
That always works out better.
Humans are great.
Right on, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you, dude. This has been cool. It's always good to have a big name like Jason Szabo on the podcast
to put us on the map.
You got any kind?
One wants to talk. I'm just bored. Thanks, guys.
Well, you got lots of interesting stuff to say, my friend. So, I don't know if you're interested in people following you, or if you have any kind of links to any of the stuff that you're doing, maybe that's something you should create. But you got any kind of
post stuff on Insta once in a while? I haven't hopped on, but Nomadic Savage or Nomadic_Savage is my Insta. But that's about all I have. I have thousands of pictures, but I keep getting shadow blocked because social media doesn't like me and my views. So I've actually had my good Insta with like thousands of followers that I had since like Naked and Afraid days. That's disappeared one morning, and I never got access to it. And same with my Facebook public page and stuff like that had 10,000 fucking followers. Yeah, so I'm back down to a couple hundred people here and there, but I'm fine with
You're
that.
just a normie now.
Yeah,
a normie like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, hey, dude, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We'll catch up again soon. I'll let you know about the backpacking trip, maybe
Word.
potentially treasure hunting trip.
Fuck
And it's been awesome, man.
Shoot
Thanks
spot
again.
out.
Right on, brother.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, Jason's a cool guy, man. I've known him for quite a few years now. I've hung out with him, 2 or 3 times at the reality rally. Us, we naked and afraiders, we got to hang together.
Dude, I
if you
wanted
know what
to
I mean.
hear more about Naked and Afraid, but I know you guys probably have been asking questions, people asking you questions all the time, and I'm like wanting to ask, and you guys are moving on to interesting things.
I guess-
like, I tried to get in there. I'm like, what about your Naked and Afraid? Did you make it all the way through? And
Yeah, I guess that kind of sucks, huh?
And
Because
then-
you've heard all my stories.
yeah, I've heard
but
your
you never
stories.
talked to another
Right. I
naked
was
and
like, how
afraider.
that? He's like, I just make all the way. He's like, oh yeah. So I was treasure hunting the other day. I'm like, okay, I guess we're not talking about Naked and Afraid. So that was kind of a shame.
We'll have him on again.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he's the real deal. He's
Yeah.
out there. Like, I mean, I was like, okay, this guy does a few cool things, like what you've done, right?
Right. Hey, I've done more than a few,
Okay,
but
you've done a bunch. But he does
nothing
like,
compared
his
to this
life
guy.
is one giant crazy
He's still living it.
situation.
Living it,
He's just
yeah.
out there by himself and like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to hang out until I can go hunt treasures. And nothing against you, Jason, but it's like I feel like other people have found $1 billion worth of gold already. Like if it's there, right? Somebody flew over with the magnetometer or whatever it was that he was trying to rent in the airplane. I mean, I hope for his sake, I hope he finds something. I feel like that's worth,
Well,
somebody.
that being said, you'd think that if it was found, it would be made public.
And
maybe.
again, I'm not
Unless it's just sitting-
questioning because it's just I'm just some guy that just learned about that's a thing. I feel like maybe it's not real. That's my instinct is maybe there's no gold bars and somebody told somebody and somebody passed
and
it
now
on
it's
and
this
it's this
fable.
Exactly. It's just like this legend, which is cool, right? And if he tells me right now, I want to go on your camping trip, and there's a place that's the same, within the same driving distance as where you guys were going to go anyways, and we're going to go treasure hunting, and he told a story, I'm there. Like, let's go do that.
Right.
With full enthusiasm. But I just feel like that much gold, if it was there, somebody already found it. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We may find out someday.
How cool would that be?
Dude, I'll go look for it. I'm not gonna fork out $10,000 to go look for it.
I don't know if I'm gonna walk around the desert for 10 days either. He's like, after 10 days of looking, I gave up. I'm like,
That's a long time. to
That's
sit in the
9 more
desert.
days than I would do. I'll be honest with you, dude. But good for him though. He's living his dream, dude. I think it's fantastic.
That is cool.
All right, guys. Well, that's a cool second episode.
That is a cool second episode. I hope everyone is as excited as we are about future guests that are just as cool and exciting to listen to.
I'd say if anybody that actually hears this and has a cool story, even just a really cool camping story or something like that, any listeners would love to be on. Just shoot us an email.
Yeah, shoot us a request to be on the show. Shoot us whatever you want. Anything you want to hear our feedback on, let's have it. Shoot it our way at info@neverinside.com. And that's it. You got anything else?
No, man, that was awesome.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call that a podcast.
Absolutely.
Let's outside.
Thank you again to all of our outsiders. Please check out our website, neverinside.com, for all of your gear. And you can reach out to Never Inside on Facebook and at Never Inside on Instagram. Let's outside.